Hello again, Michael Friedberg here from beautiful North Carolina, enjoying a beautiful late spring day. I have two products to show you today. The first is a new razor, which was brought to me by my parents, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, as well as a new soap that I have recently started, which is the follow-on from the E. Coloniale Mango that I had recently finished. So let's talk about the razor first. As you may remember, my parents once brought back from Indonesia a fantastic little Chinese travel razor that had a built-in mirror. I think that it was called the Prancing Stein, I think is what I called it. Well, my parents just recently got back from a trip to Turkey, among other places, and they brought back a Yuma. At least I believe it's a Yuma. It doesn't actually include that fantastic sort of etched Yuma logo on the top cap, but I'm going to go with the fact that it is a Yuma. Now, let me just say about this razor. I've never shaved with it before. Today is going to be its maiden voyage. I am also not going to claim that this is a razor made for the ages. It is made from what can only be described as flimsy pot metal. This is the kind of razor that an angry 11-year-old might well be able to crush to dust between his fingers. So I'm going to be a little cautious. It is really small. It's heavier than it might look. The handle has this kind of really cool pattern. It's not actually like actual knurling, it's just sort of a pattern on there. But I really do like the design of it. It's hexagonal, actually makes it easy to hold. Haven't tried it yet, but we're gonna see. So there it is in all of its glory. This could be an actual Yuma, which I think it is, or it could be a knockoff Yuma, but how would you even know the difference? Supposedly they shave great, so we're gonna find out in just a moment. Now the second new item is going to be the Haslinger Honey soap. So this is a hard pucka soap. I normally go for the softer soaps, but I'm sort of on a hard soap binge right now. This is a slightly smaller in diameter puck than most pucks and slightly taller. So there's been some complaints online from people who don't like the non-standard size of the puck. I don't know there's an international puck standard that really people have to comply with at all. It works great. You just press it into a mug. In my case, it's an apothecary mug. I just pressed it into the bottom. It has stuck there since the first time I used it. Yeah, it gets a little bit wet and soapy. You just tip it out when you're done. Rinse it off if you want to. Easy. Now, I will say that this soap is interesting. It's much easier to load than you might think, given that it's a hard soap. And it's easy to overload, and it's also a very thirsty soap. So today, I'm going to be using my fantastic Rod Neep Lignum Vitae board brush. I'm going to load carefully. So, the Honey Haslinger, it doesn't smell, well, it smells sweet-ish. It doesn't have kind of an overbearing or cloying scent. I'm using a relatively, you can sort of see kind of a wet brush, too dry, and I think I was just loading too much of a paste, and actually, since the soap is so thirsty, it actually makes it a bit hard to really get enough water in there. So I'm going for sort of a medium wet brush, not sopping wet. If you do use a sopping wet brush, this makes an incredibly sudsy lather to begin with, but it does settle down. And I will say, and I think that is actually plenty already. This is one of those soaps that once you've lathered it and you let it sit, the second lather, you can see how much that lather has settled down. So if it does in fact contain too much air, I think you'll see when we get to the second pass just how wonderful that lather's turned out. Just add a bit of water. If you're wondering, by the way, I'm not using pre-shave. I've fallen off the pre-shave bandwagon. I haven't really noticed much of a difference. It feels good to use. I don't think it's making my shaves really any better. So for the moment, I'm just doing without. Yeah, I will say this is one of those soaps that you need to be a little bit careful when you first start lathering, because it goes on and then it looks pretty good, but it is easy to get this to a state that looks good and is yet still too dry. This has been pretty thirsty in my experience, so I'm gonna just give it a second. You should hear, still doesn't sound really exactly slick enough yet. It doesn't feel exactly right yet, but that's close. All right, I'm gonna add just a bit of water, tips of the brush. I've also been experimenting, by the way, with adding water to the ends of the brush and sort of letting it drip to the tip. So when you begin to add it, you actually have a bit more water. It tends not to fall out as easily. All right, you can see this lathers very easily, very quickly. I'm going to add just a touch more water. You can see and hear that feels pretty wet, just a little touch more. Yeah, there we go. Now, I know that some of you think, wow, that took a long time to lather, but the fact is, that's really not that long to build a really nice lather. And frankly, why in such a rush? That's the real question you should ask yourself. What are you rushing for? Okay, here we go. First try of this fantastic Yuma razor that my parents were so nice to bring back from Turkey for me. Here we go. This is really small enough and light enough. This would make a fantastic travel razor. And if it breaks, it's so cheap. You can easily buy 2 or 3 of these if you needed to as backups or extras if you just happen to love this. Ooh, pretty loud. Well, that's 2 days of growth too. Okay, right off the bat, that is not incredibly comfortable in the sense that it can feel a lot of blade there. Definitely taking off the hair though. Make sure that's really good and tight. There we go. Yeah, I've often thought maybe I'm doing this sort of unfairly for these razors in the sense that I always start off with 2 days worth of growth, but at least I'm consistent about it. Oh yeah, that you can really feel. That's a lot of blade on the skin. Now, I may be a little overly sensitive to that because I've been shaving with the Baby Smooth for the last couple weeks. Took my mission on a long trip and actually gave it away to a person when I got back. A friend in the UK wanted to start double-edged shaving, so I decided, you know what, I'll pass it on to him. I've got plenty of razors at home, might as well be nice and paid for it. When I got home, there was a package waiting for my parents that had this Yuma razor in it. See? Cosmic payback. That is a substantial amount of tugging. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this has probably had the most of a struggle getting through 2 days growth of the razors I've reviewed in the last little while. Not bad, just really have to watch how you're using it. I'd also imagine that if you're not careful, razor burn. Okay, so the soap, the soap is really slick, and you will definitely know if you don't have enough water in it because it's going to feel like you are shaving, but it won't feel slick at all. In fact, it'll feel kind of a bit thick and kind of pasty. Now, I just want to show you what it looks like now that it's had a chance to sort of settle down a little bit. It tends to become a bit more creamy and a little thicker. I'm going to wet my face again a little bit. And you can just see, it'll just pull up some of the lather off the brush. You can see. So I think if you're a person who likes to bowl lather, I know there are many of you who do like to use a bowl when lathering. Me, no, not so much. Just go straight for the face lathering, but I know lots of you love to bowl lather. I think this is one of those soaps that once you lather, I might let that lather sit for a minute or two, or 3 or 4, and see what you think. Let it settle down a little bit, and you might be surprised at just how much creamier it's become. Yeah, that is very nice. That feels good and slick. I'm gonna add just a touch of water to the tips. As you can see, there's still plenty in there. Yeah, really, really liking this soap. I don't know that it's that easily had in the US. I don't know how many people actually carry it. And the soap I was originally looking for was the I think it was the sheep's milk and the lanolin one, but unfortunately that wasn't available. So then I fell back to the honey. Okay, I'm just going to do a second pass. I'll do across the grain. The other thing I've noticed a couple comments on the boards lately about people nervous about shaving right, and I just want to reiterate that you do not need to shave every time to be BBS. You also don't need to shave against the grain to somehow have had a real shave. That's just really not true. Shave in a way which is comfortable for you, which gets you a close, irritation-free shave. You know, the 3-pass shave, it's a recommendation. Yeah, that is still, and that feels like I'm going to cut myself any second now, but hopefully not. Okay. So yeah, if in your shave you want to go ahead and do a with the grain pass, and another sort of across, or a mix of across and against, or 2 across, or in fact, if you want to do another with the grain pass but at a very slightly different angle, because you're really focusing on getting a close shave, making sure you're getting a comfortable shave, and you're not nicking or irritating yourself, well, then you're shaving. I know people sort of build up this image of the 3-pass shave. It's with, across, against, and then boom, a beam of light comes down into your perfectly BBS face. Nah. Okay, well, yep, a little nick there. Just a little weeper. So I'm going to say, look, that razor, light, easy to pack, small, certainly efficient in the sense that, man, there's a lot of hair gone. There's a little bit left down here. Could certainly stand to do a 3rd pass if I wanted to. But that is not a comfortable razor for me. There's just a little too much blade, a little bit rough on the skin, a little too much blade flex there as you're shaving. Yeah, sort of in those turns right there. I know some people love those, and hey, if you love them and it works for you, great. I'm not sure that's going to be a razor I'm going to be shaving with on a regular basis. That really struggled to kind of get through 2 days of growth with without a lot of sort of blade chatter or blade movement there. Not very comfortable. Efficient, yeah. Comfortable, no, not so much. At least not for me. Not in that first shave, at least. Okay, let me try to rinse off more of the soap off my face, and apply a bit of aftershave. Now, I may still do another, like a follow-up video for the Myrsols, but I will say, same manufacturer, but I have two right now: the F Extra and the Agua Balsamica. They're both aftershaves, but man, they could not be more different in some ways. The Extra, the F. I mean, this feels like much more of a kind of a traditional aftershave, and the performance is fantastic. It's cooling. It feels great on the skin. The scent, although it doesn't linger for hours and hours, certainly stays with you for a little bit. Feels good on the face. Yep, that just smells fantastic. And looking for something that I think more is like an aftershave tonic, I'd go for the Agua Balsamica. That just has a fantastic toning effect on the skin. If you have any kind of hot skin or irritation, I would absolutely go for that one. If you're looking for a more traditional aftershave scent and feel, go for something like the aftershave F Extra. Both of them highly recommended. This one is just a really fantastic scent. Agua Balsamica is just really feels good on the face. But I think of it more as an aftershave tonic than the traditional aftershave. Both of them totally thumbs up, just depending on which way you actually want to go. All right, so let's recap. 2-pass shave with this Yuma that my parents brought back from Turkey, which was a very, very nice gift to them. It is a nice little size. Actually, the handle isn't slippery the hand when you're using it. This does seem to be, at least for me, an efficient razor. Definitely got the hair off quickly. A little bit more tugging than I like. Uncomfortable in some ways to use, and I think it's sort of an against the grain pass. Have to be pretty careful there to avoid some nicks or razor burn or irritation. So efficient, yes. Comfortable, no, not for me. Again, what can you say? The Rod Neep, fantastic brush, just tears into the soap. As always, fantastic. And then finally, the Haslinger. So this is one of the sort of those dark horse soaps. You don't hear a lot about this. You don't see this a lot in sort of shaves of the day. I've really, really enjoyed using this. Like I said, I'm not normally a hard puck person, but this has really performed very, very well. Easy to lather. The scent is very good. It smells great in the dish. You don't really get a lot of scent, obviously, from the lather, but easy to use. And I think this is going to last me quite a while. Now, what I have up next in the queue are 2 different soaps from Kalani. I have a tube of Liter that I bought in Poland, and I also picked up a Tabak shaving stick. So I do have some soaps in the queue. I don't know when I'm going to get to them because I do normally try to actually finish a soap before I move on to the next one, but we'll see how it goes in terms of the video schedule. So other than that, that's it for the shave of the day. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, please post them against the video. And once again, thank you so much for watching.